Well, the weekend has begun, but we're going to be having some awesome reviews we're going to do. ChocoPro, as you know, released a video where they actually went to Singapore and did their own little ChocoPro show there. They did not use a mat, they used a regular wrestling ring, which was okay. They only had 2 matches, just to let everybody know. And of course, we got New Japan Pro Wrestling for Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama. As you know, we have the 5-match series involving factions from 2 different promotions. We have, of course, New Japan's faction, Los Ingorbenables de Japón, taking on Pro Wrestling Noah's Congo. This is a bit of a payback match for what happened last year, where Congo completely lost to LIJ. So we'll see how that's going to go out, and there's other matches we definitely going to be reviewing. And then finally, we got week 3 of New Japan Strong with Nemesis. I have to say, there's 2 good matches I do enjoy. There's some pretty good matches I have to say I enjoyed. I love this. And of course, we got some news updates to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
To Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro number 287, and this one's in Singapore. Now, if you guys have been aware, certain people had to go to Singapore for one of their promotions down there called Singapore Pro Wrestling. This is a promotion that I know that Emi Sakura has been involved. So has Masa Takanashi, and of course our very own first ever AEW Women's Champion Riho, who was there too. She was the Women's Champion from that promotion as well. So we only had 2 matches, and not to mention the Jonkin tournament. Our first match, we have Alex Lee taking on none other than the Big Apple, Mei Shiruga. Now, we have seen previous times when it came to ChocoPro that they use a mat. Instead of a mat, they use a ring instead. I have no objection. They've done this before. They've done this in Michikunoku Pro Wrestling, when, of course, Mei, Balian, and Chi, along with Emi, they went to use a ring. They did the same thing with another promotion, Heat Up. So it would make sense of that. But the match was pretty good. I think it was very interesting because, you know, I don't know much about Alexis Lee, the opponent, but Mei Shiruga did pull off a good win by doing a somewhat version of a jackknife that gave her the opportunity to win, which was pretty good. Now, our next match, we have people. It's a 6-man tag team match. We have wrestlers coming from Set Up, if you guys remember them. We have Dr. Gore, the Butcher Man, and Andrew Tang. They take on CDK's Masahiro Takanashi and Chris Brooks, being accompanied by Shivam. I have to say, it's rather interesting. We see their friends from Thailand making their way to Singapore, but there's nothing wrong with that because they already have, some of them already has expertise on this. But this match was really interesting because you probably would have thought somehow because of the cohesiveness between both Chris and Masa will be a factor. Yes, there's that played out very well in this match. However, it took a triple. It took 3 guys to pin 1 person, and the 1 person they pinned was Dr. Gore. So that kind of went pretty well. Now, for our Jonkin tournament, it was a very interesting one because I thought May Sugar was going to win this one, but obviously I was wrong. And it was, but the person who I did not expect was Andrew Tang. Now, he expected it was a belt he was going to win, but except it was chocolate. He said he loves chocolate, so it's kind of interesting to meet Andrew Tang. He's a really interesting wrestler. I've seen him on the setup shows, but yeah. So, we will continue with more ChocoPro. If you guys haven't seen this one, what's in the one they did in Singapore, check it out. I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama. Okay, Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, our pre-shows, we have two matches. Our first one, we have the young wrestlers. We have team number 1. We got Taishi Ozawa and Yatsukata Yano taking on Rohi Oiwa and Koza Fujita. Now, this was a pretty good match because it showed which of the young boys in what promotion is far more supreme. I think that tells us it. I mean, they have like their own system, whatever they train them differently. I have no fault over that. But I can see in this one how the young lions, Fujita and Oiwa, they're trying to prove how strong they are, how well trained they are. I'm sure the guys from Noah thought the same thing too, but in this case, it was the young lions with Fujita applying the Boston Crab on Ozawa, giving them the win. Next match, we got Daiki Inaba and Masa Kitamiya taking on Oscar Lubur and, of course, Tomohiro Ishii. I figured this match was going to have a host fight when we see Ishii and Kiyomiya because it was the same. They have like the similar type of way of, how they interact, the way they're built in size. It felt that's what it was. But however, it was Kiyomiya who put Oscar in a submission, forcing him to tap out. But however, in the post match, Ishii was not going to let this slide, so he decided to pick a fight with what's his name, with Kiyomiya. So I don't know if we might see a singles match between those two. That would be great. Now, when the pre-show over, we started up with a memorial in the memory of Jay Briscoe. Some of you may question, has Jay Briscoe ever wrestled in Pro Wrestling Noah? The answer is yes. According to Kevin Kelly, they first started out in Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and then they made the jump to Pro Wrestling Noah, then New Japan. That says it all. And I think it's pretty nice that both Noah and New Japan decided, to do this honor of the memory of Jay Briscoe, and I thought it was great. So I enjoyed it. Now, our next match, our first opening match, we have Naomichi Marufuji teaming up with the Bullet Club, consisting of Geto, El Fantasma, and Kenta, taking on Takashi Ishii and Takashi Sugiura and Satoshi Kojima, along with Toru Yano and Hiroshi Tanahashi. I thought this match was pretty interesting because it seems like they're trying to convince the Bullet Club's trying to convince Marufuji to join the Bullet Club. I don't know if he's a bit hesitant, but I don't know. It would be interesting, but they could expand the Bullet Club to Pro Wrestling Noah. That would be great. But however, in this case, once again, the monitor went down when Yano applied his little move to put away what's his name, to get up, and that was over right from there. Next up, this match, I was looking forward to it. We have Yohei taking on El Desperado. Now, these two have met last year in different circumstances. At the time from last year, Desperado was in fact the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Yohei was at the time a member of the Los Perros del Mal de Japón, but he got kicked out. But it was great. I have to say, he put up a good match, and I think Desperado was impressed by him. Not to mention, he even talked about him a lot. Even Keno made a lot of reference about him in the columns that he should be going for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. But it is what it is. But it was, of course, Desperado with El Número Dos that put him in a submission. Yohei tried to break out of it, but in the end, it was just too much for him. Next up, we got more of the junior heavyweights. This time we got from Noah, Alejandro, Junta, Miyawaki, and of course our current GHC junior heavyweight champion, Amasuka. They take on Master Wato, Ryosuke Taguchi 609, and of course Tiger Mask. You probably thought this match was going to be impressive. I think it was very impressive with Alejandro, Miyawaki, and of course Amasuka, and I think it was great. But in this case, it was of course a spinal roll tap by Amasuka onto Tiger Mask that picked up the win, and I think that set it out. Now our next match, this was a very controversial match that took place. We have from Noah, Yoshiki Inamaru teaming with their GHC heavyweight champion Kato Kiyomiya. They take on Togi Makabe and our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Okada. But this match went into a personal gain. Basically, it became a shoot in some ways. Top of the story throughout the entire night after this, it ended in a no contest. Fans did not like this. I'm sure they wanted answers. Hopefully by the time the next video, I will get those answers soon enough, because I know many people want to know. But this match ended in no contest. I'm sure many fans did not want this, but it just went out of control. Looks more like issues between both champions. Well, Okada doesn't want to deal with what's his name, with Kiyomiya in every aspect, because Kiyomiya's look more like he's trying to gain his throne or something. I don't know, but that's how it is. But we'll find out. I'll get more information on what's going to happen, because Kevin Kelly even tried to find out more. Now, let's talk about our 5 series matches between Congo and LIJ. This thing began last year, if you guys remember. Congo lost, but it was LIJ who prevailed. This time, everybody has singles matches. Our first match, we have Tadasuke taking on Bushi. I thought this match was pretty good. I thought Bushi had it in the bag when he missed Tadasuke, but it did not work in his favor. He ended up on the crucifix, giving Tadasuke the win. Now, our next match, we have Hajime Ohara taking on Hiromu Takahashi. Hajime Ohara was a lot smarter than I thought. He was able to pick up a win. That was able to try to counter everything that Hiromu tried, but it did not work. It took at least 2 different time bombs by Hiromu to put away Ohara. So he applied the time bomb 2. It was over right from there. Next up, I did not know these two were tag team partners in their past. We're talking about Manabu Soya and Sanada. I thought this match was a pretty good house fight. I just loved everything about it, because it showed who is going to reign supreme. In this case, as I said, the first match went to Tadasuke, that goes to Congo. Second match goes to Hiromu, but this one, it was a pretty good one. I have to say I like this one. So, but it was Manabu Soya with the Wild Bomber that sealed the deal for him to win the match. Next up, we got Katsuhiko Nakajima taking on Shingo Takagi. These two were supposed to have like a big match, but certain things changed that did not work in their favor. But, however, this time they could have that match that they're hoping. I will talk about that some other time. But it was, of course, the last of the dragon that finished off, what's his name? Not Nakajima. So it was great. I loved it. But one thing I was worried about is, what if Nakajima dismantles Shingo? That was something that did not know, but it's well taken care of. In our main event, we have the leaders of the respective factions, Kano and Naito. You probably guessed that Naito would do whatever it takes to win the match by tossing him outside the ring. But however, Naito was able to prevail the match and apply Destino and giving him the win. However, he was hoping by the next Tokyo Dome he wants to be in the main event. But however, things have changed. He took a quick glance onto Keiji Muto, who we all know is going to retire next month. He called out saying that he picked his final opponent, and it's going to be Naito. This is huge. Naito said that he wanted to be the one to main event Tokyo Dome. I think that's going to be interesting. But one thing I'm kind of curious is, what would Ospreay think? Because he said Naito's not the top guy, but it seems now he's going up to the top. So we'll see what happens with New Japan. I believe it's time for New Japan Strong, Nemesis. Alright, our final review is New Japan Strong with week 3 of Nemesis. Our opening match is tag team action. We got Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, taking on Seattle's very own Cody Chun and Guillermo Rosas, better known as C4. Now, this match was unbelievably good because you can tell the teamwork from both teams, how they coexist, how they can, work together. However, there's certain moments we can see where West Coast Wrecking Crew were able to try to derail C4 from applying whatever move they make. Now, this particular match could put them in a tag team title consistency, so that could play out very well. However, it was, of course, the West Wrecking Crew that won the match when they pinned Cody Chun, and it was over right from there. So, it is a possibility, but we will see until then. Next match, well, I knew this was going to end in a way that we had QT versus Kenta. You probably would say Kenta is going to kill him. Kenta had the entire people, the fan base, under the palm of his hand, telling everybody, say, QT sucks. I thought that was pretty funny, but it took a while. You know for a fact that QT was going to try to find a way to cheat his way through. That's what he did. He pulled out a chair. Then, of course, Kenta used it against him until he low-blowed him, thinking he had everything under control, until he DDT'd him right on top of the chair. Then, what happened next, as CM Punk used to say in the back in the day, nighty night QT, so he received the GTS. It was over right from there. Now our main event is the championship match for the Strong Openweight Tag Team titles between challengers Roppongi Vice versus the Motor City Machine Guns. I loved this match. It was everything how I expected. I thought it would be exactly a good match to show what tag team wrestling is about. You see, these two teams represent their generation, and I think it showed us how much we appreciate that. But it was, of course, the Motor City Machine Guns with the Dirty Bomb that allowed them to retain the titles. So, you probably guessed, and that's how it works. So, basically, Motor City Machine Guns retain the titles, but who will be their next challengers? We will never know until they make the jump. So, I think that's pretty much it for our reviews. Let's move on with news updates. So welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far. West Coast Pro Wrestling has updated, knowing that their upcoming event, the West Coast, Best Coast, we're going to have the returns of two different wrestlers. One of them is Black Taurus, and the other is Timothy Thatcher. However, it was later announced Timothy Thatcher has been now booked to face Speedball Mike Bailey. So this is going to be one killer match. Now, for friendly reminder to every Japanese wrestling fan out there, Kota Ibushi's contract he will be now a free agent on starting February 1st. So we will never know until where he's going to go, what promotion he will be. There's those that say he could reunite with Kenny, the reformed Golden Lovers. He's talked about forming his own promotion. We don't know yet. So we'll stay apprised of that. Now, New South announced for their Haas entrant, number 7, that will take place later on in March. They announced Martin Stone. You may know him as Adam Birch from NXT. He will be making his triumphant appearance right there in the Haas wrestling match. Now, for the first time ever, these two guys are going to wrestle in the same promotion, Combat Zone Wrestling. We're going to have Rich Swann versus Lio Rush. This is the first time these two have ever come across each other. Now, surprising turn of events in the world of Lucha Libre. We just saw defections from two wrestlers. We have legendary Negro Casas and Dallams making their way there. So this is a huge surprise. If you guys aren't familiar with Negro Casas, his father was a wrestler, his brothers are wrestlers, his nephews. You probably can guess it. And Negro Casas is the uncle of Puma King. He has trained many wrestlers. He's done many seminars, especially the Yoshi World in Japan with Ice Ribbon. So it's great to see that. So we'll see what they're going to bring in. Now, finally, Stardom had their awards event where they announced for what awards have been won. So let me pull that up real quick for everyone. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we have. The winner for MVP, we have Shooty. Yeah, Shooty won for MVP. Best Match Award goes to Shooty versus Julia. Tag Team Award goes to Meltier, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi of the Cosmic Angels. Best Unit Award goes to Stars. Shining Award goes to Tam Nakano. Distinguished Service Award goes to Saya Kamitani. Fighting Spirit Award goes to Starlight Kid. And then finally, Skilled Award goes to Azumi. So we have Shooty and Tam walk away with 2 awards. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know how if you guys are okay with what they put out. I'm sure you'll be happy with it. I was a little not sure about the Stars winning the best unit. I was like thinking either Oda Tai or Cosmic Angel, somewhere around there. But we'll see. Everybody's opinion matters. If you guys don't feel comfortable with that, I get it. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Okay, as you know, the weekend is getting hectic. We're gonna be doing more wrestling, especially from the Japanese side. We have more on ChocoPro 288. I forgot what matches are gonna take place, but also we got Pro Wrestling Noah with the final match of Great Muda. I'm looking forward to that. So I will review that. And New Japan just began with the new beginnings. I'm looking forward to that too. So if there's any other matches, events that I will be reviewing, you guys will stand by for that. So for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWC channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.